What's up, everybody? So, to be honest with you, I did not want to do this review, but this is kind of what I do at this channel is review movies, and this is the new one out, so I guess that's just the direction that we're going in. Okay, so this is not a good movie. Okay, it's definitely not worthy of the Disney title. You know, if you're talking about something under the brand of Disney, especially somebody who grew up with Disney the way I did and the way many people of my generation and before have grown up with Disney, this absolutely does not measure up. Now, before I go into all the things that they did wrong, and there's a long list of things that they did wrong, let's start with something they did right. It's a very short list, and it's just Gal Gadot as the look of the evil queen. If you've seen the animated version of it, you've even maybe read the book that is based off of the animated version of it, which I've read many times. I remember as a kid. She absolutely embodies the look. It's perfect. You know, it's like if you're gonna make an animated character into a live action character, it's hard to have somebody look as perfect as Gal Gadot does. Having said that, her performance, she's trying to ham it up, but it just doesn't go. It just, you don't buy into it. The singing voice is not up to snuff. I mean, look, sometimes there are actors that are not singers that are in a Disney movie and they do perfectly fine. The Rock is a great example of that. He's not a singer, but he sings the Maui songs in Moana perfectly, and they're fun and they're enjoyable, and you listen to them over and over again, especially if you have small kids. But this just isn't one of them. You know, this is not the case. Rachel Zegler has an incredible voice. Wow. You know, I'm just blown away when she sings. You know, even just go back to West Side Story and the Hunger Games prequel, and you could just be blown away by this girl's vocal cords. Amazing. The songs are terrible. They just suck. And then all of the story changes that they made. I mean, a lot of times when you're making a live action adaptation, you are adding things, but you're keeping the core substance of the original rendering. But they changed so much, you can barely call this a Snow White movie. In the original, they call her Snow White because her skin is so light. And in this one, they call her Snow White because she was born in a snowstorm. So here's a nuanced change that they made, which I didn't understand why. So in the original cartoon version, she gets lost in the forest. The dwarves save her and bring her to their cabin. And then when she wakes up, one of the ways in which she thanks them is by cleaning up, because the place is so messy. But hey, they saved her life. The least I can do is kind of tidy things up around here. And in this version, she makes them do it. So, you know, it's supposed to be a show of gratitude, and it ends up just being like her being bossy in like a sing-songy way. Instead of it being a prince that is looking for her to kind of pay his respects, and then they kind of end up falling in love in some roundabout way. I mean, even that's not very clear in the animated version. But in this time, the love interest, he's not a prince, he's a potato thief and an actor. And it's like, what? It's like so many of the changes just don't make sense. You know, they try and explain them away, but they just don't hold truth to the story. And so it's just like it's almost like 5 or 6 different people put in their version of how they would change Snow White for a modern audience. And then instead of just going with one interpretation of it, they took many things out of all these different versions and put a hodgepodge together and told some songwriter, hey, put together some kind of catchy songs that are in one way or another related to Snow White. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work on any level. You know, I'm not even going to talk about like the outside things that were happening, the non movie making aspect, all the attention that this movie had gotten for years based on comments that were made by the actors and the reshoots that were done and all of that jazz. Forget all of that. If you just do your best to kind of evaluate this movie in a vacuum by itself, it doesn't work. Anyways, those are my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.